Well. We have a new year and a new champion. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. As you know, I'm coming to you raw and uncut. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Alright, sorry for this video coming out late. I had one of my siblings passed a few days after Christmas, so I've been there. I did not see SmackDown. I listened to it driving back home and stuff, but I did not watch the show. So I'm going to try to get this down by memory. My 65-year-old brain, not sure how well that's going to go, but we're going to give it a go anyway. All right. SmackDown tonight was very interesting. I mean, I thought, and like I say, all my videos are my opinion and stuff. So I thought tonight's show, or from what I heard, was okay. I mean, it was okay. I mean, like I said, I listened to it, driving and stuff, but I wasn't able to see it. So, but anyway, it starts off with Randy Orton coming out, and he was getting ready to start talking, and then Trick Williams comes out, you know, and then Trick Williams tells Randy Orton that a new star has arrived, and his name is Trick Williams. You know, and see, he's saying that everyone loves him. You know, as they call him, Trick Willie and all this other stuff. And he says, that he's 6'5", 250. And he has three cars, and all this stuff. He starts bragging about himself, and he's talking about some lemon pepper, steppers that he, I guess used on, and then tells Randy Orton, he he better do the math and stuff like that. And then, Randy Orton comes out and he says that, he is 6'5", 270. He has five kids, a smoking hot wife, and he loves lemon pepper chicken. But the only thing that he has to worry about is the number and the number 14, which matters, about anything because, he tells him that he's a 14-time world champion, and then, I mean, Trick Williams, I mean, like he's good actually, and then Trick Williams goes on, you know, to, I guess, kind of try to put, Randy, down, trying to, make Randy seem like, um, I guess I don't want to say the word as a punk because we know Randy Orton, he's not. We know Randy Orton is like one of the great ones and stuff, And then as Trick William, is still talking, he turns his back to Randy Orton, and Randy Orton, is like telling him, "Hey, has anybody ever told you, not to turn your back on me and stuff, So Trick Williams, gets a little bit raggedy at the mouth, looks, stares down Randy Orton, then they start the brawl. Randy Orton, gets on him and everything and stuff like that. Then he gives him RKO, and then here comes The Miz. The Miz comes in and stuff. He tries to attack, well, he does attack, Randy Orton and stuff. And then I believe Randy Orton, switches it around as The Miz is trying to give him, the Stone Crushing finale. Randy Orton turns it around and RKO's, The Miz. And then he looks down at Trick Williams and stuff and everything. And then he leaves the ring. And then you had the match with Trick Williams and Ray Fenix. And I mean, it was a pretty good match, I mean, it was back and forth and stuff like that, but, Trick Williams, I mean, as far as if they're going to be like putting him over and stuff, I mean, we know Trick Williams is a heel and he's wrestling Ray Phoenix and stuff. But I don't think it took the fact that Trick Williams should have I think it should have closed with a finishing move and not a roll up, because Trick Williams is a lot better than that and everything. And then they have Trick Williams, rolling up Ray Phoenix for the win, and then holding the tights and stuff. Uh, I don't know. Ray Phoenix is more or less. I don't like the fact that they have him the way that he is. I think him and Penta need to get back together, as a tag team, because I think they can be a dominant tag team. But right now they have Ray Phoenix going on and he's jobbing out and stuff. So Trick Williams wins that match. You know, it was okay. The match was okay. And then we had the match with Giulia and Alexa Bliss. Now this match right here, I mean, Charlotte apparently is out, and she's sick, so she wasn't there in Germany, on Alexa's side and stuff like that. But we get the match. The match is, see, it's okay. It could have been better and stuff. But Alexa gets the upper hand. She goes on top of the top rope. She's about ready to do a twisted bliss, and Lash Legend pushes her off the ropes and stuff while the referee is not paying attention. And then Julia hits her with the Northern Lights and wins the match. And then Lash Legend and Alexa Bliss gets into the ring and they start beating down Alexa Bliss, and she gets squashed by Nia Jax. Yeah. So this match really made zero sense, but I guess it was a filler. I mean, 3 hours of a show, I guess you got to do something. And then I believe next was a Jordynne Grace. She's talking to Nick Aldis and everything because she just signed her contract with SmackDown. And then Chelsea Greens comes out and she's talking about wanting a rematch, against Giulia, who beat her for the U.S. Women's title and stuff like that. And then Alba Fyre jumps in Jordynne Grace's face, and so now there's a match set up between Alba Fyre and Jordynne. Um, yeah, Alba Fyre and Jordynne Grace, later on in the show. And I believe it was right after that segment that the match, with Alba Fyre and Jordynne Grace, started. And Jordynne Grace just dominated Alba Fyre and stuff. She just beat the crap out of her, and she wins the match. And then after the match was over, Jade Cargill comes out, and gets in Jordynne Grace's face and said, "You think you did something?" You know, that she thinks she bad, and then basically Jay Cargill says, "This is my house and everything. She's the head bee in charge and stuff." So I guess pretty soon down the line they're gonna have, Jay Cargill going against Jordynne Grace. But and I think it's gonna be good because we need to see Jay Cargill in the ring defending that women's title. I mean, we can't have a sitting champion. We have enough of that already going around. We don't need any more of that. We need to see titles put on, you know, um, on the line on television, and not just on pay per views and stuff or PLEs, however you want to call them and stuff. But I think that's going to be pretty good if they can get a storyline going between Jay Cargill and Jordynne Grace or whoever she may meet, whoever Jay Cargill may meet, you know, um, down the road. And I think we had the next match was the Wyatt Six against the MFTs. As it sounded that the match, to me, the match was boring. It wasn't nothing what I thought it would be. If all these show up and, standing face to face and all these things that they were doing and stuff, for the last couple of months or whatever and stuff, you thought it would have been a real good knockdown, drag out, fight. But it wasn't. It wasn't. And then we get, a cutthroat from Tamatonga, on Uncle Howdy, and it wins the match But the match itself, I mean, it wasn't. There was no excitement in the match. It was nothing. You thought the match would be brutal and stuff, but it wasn't. It was just dry and stuff. So I hope they don't wrestle again. I'm sure that they're going to probably end up with another match, something going on and everything. But you would think that the match would be a great match, and it wasn't. But anyway, we get Johnny Gargano. You know, I guess Nathan Frazier. Was talking as he thought he was talking to Axiom and stuff, but it ended up being Johnny Gargano who attacks Nathan Frazier and beats him down. Then Axiom comes in and try to make the save, but Johnny Gargano left and stuff, and then we get the match between Carmelo Hayes and Shinsuke Nakamura, which was for the U.S. title, open challenge match that Carmelo Hayes is going, doing that the other U.S. champions were doing and stuff like that. And from what I, understand what I was hearing, it was a pretty good match, from what I've heard. And they were going back and forth, and stuff like that. And then, nothing but net, Carmelo hits on Shinsuke Nakamura, and he wins the match and he retains his title. You know, and then we get the match with Cody Rhodes against Drew McIntyre. And this was the three-stage of Hell match. Now, the first match was like a regular match. And the match was, I mean, I guess it was okay, you know, um, for the two. And then let me remind you, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments and stuff like that, whether you agree or disagree. I'm just trying to get through this and everything. So if I miss anything or, it sounds a little dry or whatever, it's just because the fact is that, I'm just getting in where I'm at. It's like about 3, almost 4 o'clock in the morning. So here we go. So this match is okay. The Drew ends up kicking Cody between the legs and everything, and he wins the first match. I mean, the referees, his attention was drawn away and stuff, so he didn't see the kick, between the legs. So so Drew wins that, the first one. And then they end up with the Falls Anywhere match, which was a pretty good match. I mean, that one was pretty good. They went out into the crowd and everything. I like the fact that Cody did take somebody's cell phone, bit Drew McIntyre on top of the head, and took a picture of that and stuff. I mean, I glanced down, I saw that, and I started laughing. You know, so the match was pretty good. Um, Cody, I believe he gives him a crossroads through the announcers table, and he wins the second match. Although Cody had, did that previously in the ring, and Drew kicked out. But I guess because it was on the announcers table, I guess it meant more, and Drew did not kick out. Then we go into the third, stage of the cage match and everything. And I mean, it was pretty good. They were on top of the ring. I mean, on top of the cage, fighting on top of the cage. I mean, it got pretty brutal for a minute and everything. And it looks like, Cody was about ready to, retain and stuff. But Drew hits Cody with, I believe, I mean, I think he hits the turnbuckle and everything. Because I think he took the turnbuckle cover off, and, Cody hits it and stuff. And then Drew, is getting ready to go out of the ring and stuff. And then all of a sudden, somebody appears in a black hoodie, and it ended up being Jacob Fatu. So Jacob Fatu puts the beating down on Drew McIntyre and everything. And then Cody goes and, grabs Jacob, and Jacob nails Cody. But the fact is, why didn't as Cody saw Jacob Fatu beating down on Drew McIntyre, why didn't Cody just go ahead and just climb over and climb out of the ring and win it that way? But no, he grabs Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu starts and Cody starts scrapping and everything. And then Drew, while the door of the cage is open, he slithers through, falls out, and he wins the undisputed title. So now Drew is the new champion and stuff. So I guess apparently since Drew has won that title, there's going to be some type of thing going on. So I guess they're going to make Drew a more competitive champion, fighting that title. But I think whoever's in the Royal Rumble, you know, that's going to be interesting. And then we have the Elimination Chamber coming also and stuff. So the winners of those two matches really are the ones who get a shot at the you know, at whatever title they're going to be going on. So stay tuned. Let's see what Drew does. Is he going to sit on the title and not ever defend it on TV, or is he going to be a working champion? Who knows? But anyway, this is what I have. Um, I try to put out the best way that I could and stuff. But anyway, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, and thank you for watching. God bless. Deuces, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.